Hey y'all, Miss Darcy here. I am going to read the story of Jesus forgives and heals a paralyzed man. I'm going to read that story, and I'm doing it outside because today it's an absolutely beautiful day outside. So this is from the book of Luke, which is in the New Testament, and it's Luke chapter 5, verses 17 through 26. Please forgive the airplane sounds above. One day, Jesus was teaching, and Pharisees and teachers of the law were sitting there. They had come from every village of Galilee and from Judea and Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was with Jesus to heal the sick. Some men came carrying a paralyzed man on a mat and tried to take him into the house to lay him before Jesus. When they could not find a way to do this because of the crowd, they went up in the roof and lowered him on his mat through the tiles into the middle of the crowd, right in front of Jesus. When Jesus saw their faith, he said, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." The Pharisees and the teachers of the law began thinking to themselves, "Who is this fellow who speaks blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but God alone?" Jesus knew what they were thinking and asked, "Why are you thinking these things in your hearts? Which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or say, 'Get up and walk'? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." So he said to the paralyzed man, "I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home." Immediately, he stood up in front of them, took what he'd been lying on, and went home, praising God. Everyone was amazed and gave praise to God. They were filled with awe and said, "We have seen remarkable things today." I actually got to choose which story that I could read to you and teach to you, and I chose this story on purpose because I absolutely love this story. And I love the story for lots of reasons. But the main one is that this poor man had some really good friends, and they really cared for him. He couldn't get out to see Jesus, so they were carrying him to go see Jesus. So these friends were such good friends that they were physically carrying their friend to the place where Jesus was. And then when they couldn't get close enough and they couldn't bring their friend close enough to Jesus, they crawled on top of the house and lowered the dude right there, just lowered him right down, right at Jesus's feet. Man, it is so awesome to think of what we can do as friends. Sometimes our friends might be struggling, and maybe we're the friends that lowered our buddy down because we were able to do that at that time. That's how we can help our friends. Or sometimes we might be like the man who's lying on the mat. We're just really struggling with life and we need some help. And then some friends come along and help us to remind us to get back to Jesus. I love this story, y'all. It's so good. I want to be that friend to my friends. I want to be the friend that goes and brings my friend to Jesus when they are struggling. Y'all, we get to do that. And because of the faith of those friends, not only was their paralyzed friend healed, but his sins were also forgiven. Y'all, sometimes life is hard. And sometimes we might not actually get to see our friends. And sometimes, like right now, when we are supposed to be social distancing, we can pray for our friends. How good is that? We can still be those friends that get our friends closer to Jesus by praying for them. So be that friend.